How's everybody doing? All right, good. For our little experiment here, I'm going to have a little chat with my friend. Let's bring him up. Hope he's doing okay today. I'm worried about him. Hey, man. Hey, listen, I'm here. Pretty exciting day. We're here in Boston. It's a pharma forum. A lot of great people here. Could you do me a favor? Just say hello to them, and then I have some questions for you.
Hey there, everyone in Boston at the Pharma Forum. Mitch and I are checking in, and I'm happy to be part of your day. So, Mitch, hit me with your questions.
Yeah, really quick. I want to tell you, I'm thinking about holding an event. I can't decide if I want to do Boston or Denver. I'm thinking something big, though. What do you think? If you had to compare the two cities, just give me, top 3 things I should know.
All right, Boston first. You've got a rich history vibe, super walkable neighborhoods, and you'll attract a lot of academia and biotech folks, so if that fits your crowd, it's a natural win. Denver, on the other hand, offers more of that outdoor, laid-back vibe.
Yeah, but see, hold on, I gotta interrupt you. Our people like to party. They like to party. Talk to me. What's a better city?
Well, if we're talking party energy, Boston's got those vibrant bars and pub culture, especially around downtown and Fenway. But Denver's no slouch. You've got that craft beer scene and rooftop fun. Honestly, both cities can throw down.
But hold on. If somebody really wanted to party, like dancing, get loud, I may be just talking about myself. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Where do they go? If they were in Boston and they were going to party on a Monday night, where's the spot?
Oh, if you're talking that kind of party, Boston's got spots like Lansdowne Street near Fenway or the Theater District. Plenty of places where even Monday night can get lively. You definitely find a dance floor ready for you.
All right, well, I'm going to go practice. Hey, I may have you do a report later, and could you go ahead and write an email to my team and just say, hey, Mitch really wants to go to Boston and party on a Monday.
I'm always happy to help with a report, but when it comes to sending emails, that's up to you.
Okay. Can you just write it for me, though, at least? Give me that.
Of course. Here's a draft you can use. Subject, Monday night plans, Boston style. Hey, team. So I've got a little confession.
That was nice of him. What a great guy. All right, thanks. Give ChatGPT a round of applause. All right. Well, hey, welcome out, everybody. So interesting how information is really cheap now. As a matter of fact, I'll say something I say often that's going to freak out everyone in the room. But it's true. The cost of knowledge is now absolutely zero. Now, what does this mean? This means one of my clients, one of our clients at Hive, is an oil and gas company. It means that I could literally right now have any AI model teach me everything about fracking natural gas out of the ground. It does not mean I should go work on a wellhead this afternoon because I'm going to die. So the cost of knowledge, its raw form, is very cheap. I can get access to any information. How many people use AI every day? Say yeah. How many people use it maybe once a week, twice a week, or not very often? Say uh-huh. How many people still don't know what we're doing right now? Over the next 9 hours, I'm going to talk about tariffs and politics. Everybody buckle up. Let's go. So the cost of knowledge is now zero. Now, that means I can get access to anything. It doesn't mean I actually know what to do with it. If you think about the industry you're in, it's the same for events, it's the same for offsites, it's the same for meetings. Now, I run a company where we deal with AI training, that's what we do. So we train lots of people on how to use AI effectively. We also train on human skill, the lost art of communication, presentation, accountability, by the way. Do you know how many companies, you all probably know this firsthand, just have zero accountability? We did a rollout for a natural gas company of 750 employees. The first week we were at their corporate office, all of our facilitators are there. They're in each room, ready to go. We're supposed to have 30 people in a room, and we're all excited. People didn't show up. We had 6 in the room, 20 were online, some had their screens on, it was crazy. I asked the company what they thought. They're like, it just happens a lot around here. If you don't make it important, it won't be important. So we teach a lot about accountability. We also have a division where we build a lot of tech. So we go in and fix companies who basically pulled AI in to fix a problem that didn't exist because somebody said it was a good idea, and then we come in and actually solve the real problem. So we deal with this a lot, and we see that knowledge, the cost, is zero. But wisdom is super valuable right now. Now, I've had a personal experience with wisdom. This guy right here is my grandfather. That is Roby Benjamin Mitchem. Now, Roby, a phenomenal guy. I knew him at least for 7 years before he died. He was a World War II vet. He fought in the Philippines. He was actually trapped in the Philippines, that's what he used to say, trapped in the Philippines for almost 4 years. He volunteered for the war effort a full 3 months before Pearl Harbor. For the kids, that was a bad thing. And that's usually when everybody enlisted, was right after Pearl Harbor. But my grandfather enlisted early. He saw that the war was coming. He got into the Army early. By the way, I don't know much about what his life was like when he was younger, but that hat is something my kids would say is just straight fire. Look how he's rolling those sideburns. Like, that's gangster. By the way, if you want to have fun with AI, just let me take a little side note. I have 4 kids. So they are 22, 20, 18, and 3.5. Let it settle in. Now, Luke is amazing. We love little Lukey. But, so I have kids. So you want to have some fun with AI, do this. So my 18-year-old recently, he's going to graduate high school. He just turned 18. Big basketball guy, and he just finished his basketball career after 14 years of playing basketball. He just finished. Big emotional day. But he was texting me. He's like, Dad, I want to go shoot around. Now, that's how a normal teenager would say it. Dad, what are you doing later? Let's go shoot around. No. My son started with, hey, Dad, no cap, bet. You want to get it? Okay, so whatever language this was fascinating to me. It wasn't English. It was a broken kind of mess. So I did what any responsible parent in the AI space would do. I took all of that text and put it into Claude and said, please translate this to normal human speech. And Claude said, the teenage son slang. Here we go. So then it translated it. Then I wrote my response, and then I said, now translate it back into his language. So it did. So it starts with no cap, and it works its way out. I said, I'd like to do some basketball so I can possibly get some aura farming in. If you don't know what this is, look it up. And so I write this, Claude writes this whole big message. So I send it to my son, and in the most plain English you can imagine, he writes back, Dad, never do that again. So it's very useful for many things. How many people have kids in here? Just make some noise. Yeah, you notice why the noise wasn't much? They're tired, okay? They're tired, that's why. So this is my grandfather, Roby. Now, Roby, see what I mean? There was something about him, a little bit cocky. Just a little bit cocky. I like this about him. I get it honest. So he was quite a remarkable guy. But he, in his 57th year, found out he had a brain tumor. And largely probably because he had worked in the coal mines when he wasn't in the war. So he had been in the coal mines of Virginia and West Virginia for most of his life. This is him at 57, so the time is coming to a close. Now, he did something that I'll never forget that could be in a movie scene. He's about a year, 9 months or so from dying. He knows it. He's been told the prognosis is grim. He takes my dad and I, walks into this big garage-like shed he had on his property. Keep in mind, he built his own house by hand. By the way, my kids freak out if the Wi-Fi goes down. But he built his own house and this shed. So he says to my dad, who was all of about 30 years old at the time, and he said, listen, son, they're going to fight over all my stuff, meaning his brothers and sisters and his family. They're going to fight over everything we own, and I'm just telling you, he goes, I don't care about any of it. Well, he was from Virginia, so it sounded more like this. I'll be real, I don't care about any of it, none of it. So that's the way he said it. And he said to my dad, he goes, if a tool isn't useful, I throw it out. He goes, and there are 3 tools that I care about. There's a saw, there's this level I use to build the house, and there's this hammer, and it's the best hammer I've ever owned. My dad, to this day, still has all 3 of those tools in his house. They're hanging up in his garage. So the day my grandfather dies, tragic day, we all knew it was coming. My dad walked out of the house because he was doing hospice in the house. My dad walks out the house, goes right into the shed, pulls those 3 tools off, puts them in his car. He said, we're leaving. We left, we went back to our place, and then we went to the funeral later, like a few days later. My dad never went back. He didn't ask for another thing. He didn't want another thing. But what my grandfather taught me on that day was, a tool better be damn useful or throw it out. So everything I'm going to show you today is about making AI useful. So much hype is in the world. I'm telling you, we deal with it all the time. We have trained countless numbers of people. Actually, there is a count. But what I'll tell you about it is what makes something useful in the terms of artificial intelligence is not the novelty, not the speed. It's what can I actually do with it. Now, I will tell you, AI today in large language model form has a little bit of a trick. What it does is it gets you to watch it do something, which stimulates you. If you're a very kinesthetic or visual person, you don't realize this, but you're getting hyper-stimulated by, how many of you have ever sat, you can make a little noise if it's true, ever sat and watched a large language model do something and just going, wow. Anybody? Oh, just you up front. Everybody else just goes, what's AI? I'm so confused. Right. So we all get kind of stimulated by watching it do something. Today we're going to talk about taking action. Action is the only metric we care about at Hive. We care about, can I actually do something with this? Which causes us to ask, and I'll give you kind of a really cool prompt thing that we've used with all of our clients over the years. But what's crazy about this philosophy, this mindset, is if now I start to pivot and go, all right, first of all, is AI even the right tool? All of you know this very well, that if I'm going to go negotiate with someone, I don't need AI to do that. I need to be in the room. I need to be on the phone. We need to be having a one-on-one. And in fact, I tell my kids all the time, it's like a superpower. If you're a person that knows how to communicate effectively, you have a superpower. And the younger you are, if you develop that skill, your superpower is even larger. So for any of you right now under the age of 30, master the skill of being able to walk into a room and just take charge, get in control, and communicate well. It's a major skill. So we're going to talk about how to take action. Oh, gosh, I wasn't going to show you that, but let me give you my background really quick just so you have it. Why am I here? And why do I even stand here on this stage? Well, it's a couple of reasons. One, I run a company that does what I said. The other thing is, though, how I started. I started out at Second City. I studied in Chicago back in the 90s. Anyway, so I was in Chicago in the 90s studying in Second City. I built a comedy show there. It was a blast. And then I went into learning and development for about 13 and a half, 14 years. And from there, really learned how to master everything from large conference facilitation to leadership. I got a divorce in like 2013. And I did what every guy does when he gets a divorce. I called a buddy of mine who was a CTO and said, let's build a dating app. It gets icky, right? So we needed a space to do it in. We were like, where should we build a dating app? And at the time in Colorado, what was becoming legal? Cannabis, marijuana, yeah. So we built a dating app called Hi There, HIGHTHERE, the Tinder for tokers. You're welcome. We got 300,000 users in 11 months. And then we sold it. You're welcome. And then they kind of let it flounder. But we did something no one had even thought of doing. People who consume cannabis, for all sorts of reasons, by the way. It's not all just fun and games and partying. We had cancer patients in there. We had lots of people in there. And they would get together and date and hang out, and people met each other. We had a couple people who got married from meeting. It was really cool. It was also really weird to track you all. Not you all, but other people who were in the app. We could track you. By the way, in case you're worried about security and AI, that phone in your pocket, you can be tracked down to 6 inches of where you're standing at any moment. In the app, 11 years ago, we could do that. So we are already being tracked and traced on a massive level. So then from that, I sold it and I built, eventually, Hive to bring back human skill and to bring in the technical aspects of what we had done. Our CTO, the other Mitch, we call him Mitch Lane, and I are also building AI tech now together. We're still working together, but Hi There was just a fun thing. Now, to prove that I'm not lying to you, here you go.
Hi there.
Hi there. Hi there. Hi there.
Hi there. så er appen Hi There. Nej. Så hvis du leder efter nogen, som du kan dele din hash med eller dit liv.
We created Hi There, a way for cannabis consumers to thoughtfully and meaningfully connect with each other. This app gets those cannabis consumers to connect with each other to share different types of experiences in a like-minded environment. It's a social connection. It's not just about one thing. But I think if you look at the cannabis consumer, that person is evolving. I mean, they're getting things done. They work hard every day. They show up for work on time. They're incredibly creative. There's a misperception about the weed consumer, and it's changing very quickly. So we want to pull those people together in a non-judgmental way so that they're not stigmatized. We're a social network. We are going to be a brand that is a lifestyle brand that it connects people in a way that really is kind of mainstream. We call it Hi There. And like we say around here, you've got more friends than you think. Hi there, true story. Okay, so we've trained over 112,000 people on how to use AI effectively. So what I'm going to give you is not theory. It's not even basic. It's what we have seen actually fundamentally work to get people to increase their productivity. One of the things we hear all the time is people get remarkably frustrated with using AI and feeling like it's actually not getting them where they want to go. By the way, you may not know this, but the first prompt, the most used first prompt for any AI model, and we got this information, hold on, he's taking a photo. Nice. You know, you got to take it when you can get it, you know what I mean? Always be aware, this is very improv of me. So what we learned from Anthropic and from OpenAI, by the way, we're very AI agnostic. So if our clients say, hey, we want to train 500 of our employees on how to use Claude, we don't say, no, you got to use ChatGPT. We help them figure out what they want to do, and then we guide them down that road. We're AI agnostic. But we deal with all of the companies. And Claude, or Anthropic and OpenAI have both confirmed that the most used prompt, the first prompt, any new person to AI, the most common, millions of them, is the word hi. Hi. The second most common prompt is, how are you doing? To AI. How are you doing, machine in front of me? Be like going to your dishwasher and be like, how's your day? Do you feel like cleaning? No? And by the way, after their third or fourth interaction, if they haven't done something useful, they tend to either say that the technology is stupid or give up, and they rarely come back. And if they do, it's usually because they were told to. So what we do is kind of get rid of that. So what I'm going to show you today is how to kind of make this super useful. And I'm also going to show you a couple tools that maybe you haven't seen before. So how many of you use, okay, we're going to just do a little, just because I'm always curious. How many people use ChatGPT? Say yeah. Yeah. Okay. How many people use Gemini? Say yeah. Yeah. How many people use Grok? Yeah. Okay, so the exercise was say yeah. But when I said Grok, someone goes, never! Never! That's because why Elon Musk built Grok. So when a company comes to us and says, oh, hey, we want to use Grok, I'll go, well, you have a 50% employee problem. They go, what? I go, well, first of all, half the employees are going to want to burn it like a Tesla, and the other half is going to go, that's awesome, and then you're going to have a real division, and it's a mess. Because politics right now are the dumbest thing. Everything's a mess, and so let's just focus on each other, shall we? So Grok is out for a lot of people. Although it's pretty effective, it also has weird settings, like it can go not suitable for work, like that. We saw, okay, I shouldn't tell you this story, but can I tell you stories I shouldn't tell you? Do you mind? You're like, someone right up front going, yes, please. So we were in client sessions with this company, I'm not going to say who, and a sales guy in the room, we do these exercises where people have to like, okay, now pair up and use AI to solve a problem and blah, blah. So he's sitting there and he's talking to his Grok, because their company had a BYO AI policy, bring your own AI, which is hilarious. So he's sitting there and he has it on like I did with ChatGPT. He's talking to it and he goes, so hey Grok, really quick, last night we were talking about that problem I was trying to solve. Could you just go through that again with me? And I'm not kidding you. We're in a room of maybe 40, 50 people. And Grok goes, sure, baby. Right away, I knew we are in trouble. Because his phone is just sitting on the table. So it's not in his hand, it's just sitting there. And he goes, like this big look on his face. And it goes, but do you want to talk about last night first? Because that was amazing. And he was like, ah! So some AI is useful and some is just icky. You know, like a divorced guy with a dating app, icky, right? So this, though, is Claude. How many people use Claude? Now, this is not just Claude. Has anyone in the room used Claude Cowork? A couple people in the back. Okay, good. So the field gets very narrow. This is a vision of Claude Cowork. Now, let me tell you what Claude Cowork is, because we're gonna run a little experiment here. This will be hard for you to see for just a second, because it's running native off my computer. But this is Claude Cowork. So what Claude Cowork is, it is an agent, an AI agent. Has anyone heard of that term? Say aye. AI agents, if you haven't heard of it, are simply this. They run autonomously in the background doing things on your behalf. They require an enormous amount of discernment because you give them access to things like your email or like the internet or your social media and things like that. So what I'm going to have Claude do, now you really can't see that because it's very fine print here, but I am telling Claude, get connected to LinkedIn, which I verified, and then I say, go to LinkedIn, search for Pharma Forum 2026. So what it's going to do is log into, I should mention, can we break some rules? Do you mind? Because LinkedIn will get really mad. Same person. Yes, break rules. Yes, do things. So LinkedIn doesn't like this, what I'm about to do. But, it's LinkedIn. Okay, so who cares? And then later, just for fun, I'll go in and go, I am so proud and honored and excited to be, whatever. So what we're going to do with LinkedIn is I'm going to have it basically troll my LinkedIn account, which is logged in. I'll show you in just a second. It's going to start going through LinkedIn, finding anyone in this room who has mentioned being here. And it's going to search all of LinkedIn. I went to the forum, I'm here, I'm in Boston, things like that. It's going to filter those out, and then it's going to, right in the middle there, you can't really read it, but there's a little note that says, hey, it's me, it's Mitch, I'm on stage, and it's going to send a friend request on my behalf while I'm talking the rest of the time I'm here. This will probably, if I let it will run for hours. I just did this at a conference last week. There were, 250 people in the room. It was a big leadership conference. And by the end of that night, so we're at this cocktail reception, people were running up to me and go, I just got your thing, your note. So it works. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to show you how this works. Now, for just what Eric says today, it's just for fun. I'm just going to make sure it's still connected. But for what you're doing every day, this is a phenomenal background tool for research. We use it all the time, researching clients, researching client engagements, researching venues, when I'm going to go speak, things like that. So it says, let me get into LinkedIn. Okay, so let's go back and see how this LinkedIn party is going. So, whoops. So I'm going to go right here. We're going to drop this out. Now, this is where it's going to start to work. So let me just clear all these out. Hey, John, I know you're in here. You were my conversation last night. So there is LinkedIn. So we're going to just watch it for a second. That you can see the line at the top is kind of pulsating up there. There we go. It's working. So now it's starting to search on my behalf. I'm not running this search. It's running this search. So it'll continue to go through this. If there's anyone here, it will find them. It will start to link with them, and it'll send them a note. This tool for us has become one of the most vital tools we use. I will tell you this, it's not cheap. We pay about $100 a person to run it to get enough usage out of it to make it really useful, but it is super powerful. So you'll notice what it's doing. It's scanning and scrolling, trying to find the right event. It's making sure that it's got the right people, and then it's going to start linking. And once it feels comfortable, it'll start linking up with those people it thinks are here. I should also note that what it's doing here is giving me a report as it's working. So it's going to continue to tell me, by the way, I can interrupt this. A lot of AI models like ChatGPT, a lot of us get frustrated because in order for me to be able to stop it or talk to it, I have to interrupt it. You ever had that where you have to stop it from what it's doing? Here, I could just type something in and it will just continue to work. And it'll say, okay, got it, you added something, great. So if I say, hey, really quick, also single out, and I picked one of your names or sent it a photo of your badge, hey, see if you can find this person. And it'd be like, okay, let me look for them too. And it would just add it to its workflow. So you could walk away from one of these projects, come back in 10 minutes because you remembered something, type it in, hit enter, keep going. You can run this all day. And this, I'm telling you, this is one of the most effective. Is this useful, by the way? Claude Cowork is what it's called. It's a native application, lives on your computer. A new feature of Claude Cowork just came out, and I'll be trying it tomorrow with our team, where I can basically remote control Cowork. Now, let me just be honest about this. This requires a lot of permission. You have to give these tools massive permission that some of us might not be comfortable with, but I'm going to give it permission to work on my behalf, which is kind of crazy. So I'll be able to do it remotely. I'll be able to talk to it. My computer on my desk will pop open, and it'll be like Jarvis from its Iron Man reference. Never mind. Okay. So we'll come back to that. We'll go check in on this later, so you can see it's still working, and we'll see what it's come up with. By the way, if anybody gets a notice in that time frame, let me know if you get pinged while you're sitting here. So that's just one of the tools that we love. Oh, gosh. Quiz time. You saw that image come up. I meant to show you that. I just wanted to tease you a little bit. So we're going to have a little moment, just a little test. Everybody take a breath. Just take a breath. It's a big test. For those of you that are under 40, you're the only ones allowed to answer. Anyone over 40, you're not allowed. Did I age discriminate? Yes, but I'm over 40 by a bunch, so I get to do whatever I want. If you're under 40, what is that device? BlackBerry. What kind of BlackBerry? Anybody can read BlackBerry. Who said curve? Are you under 40? I'm 29. Yeah. Wow, there we go. Well, you didn't have to tell me your age. I didn't mean that. So this is the Ferrari of BlackBerries. Came out in 2007. The BlackBerry Curve, the most dominant phone in phone history until the iPhone came out. And the iPhone decimated the BlackBerry. Within a year, it was killing it. And by 2010, it had all but wiped out what BlackBerry had built. Fabulous. Fabulous device, the BlackBerry. I've had people come up to me, grown adults come up to me with tears in their eyes saying, I miss that keyboard so much. So, BlackBerry. I only show you this because I want you to look at the comparative between, everybody right now is going, yeah, mine was amazing. They're just sharing stories about their BlackBerry. The BlackBerry adoption compared to the iPhone was wild. I mean, people go back now and look at it as the most remarkable thing they'd ever seen. Nothing compared to what's going on with AI. AI to the iPhone makes the iPhone look silly. The adoption rates are all over the place. That used to be, you would think it's people under 20 or kids trying to cheat on their tests. I know my kids have never done that, but they probably have. But it's not. It's all over the board. In fact, the more wisdom you have, the more experience you have, the more effective you become in using AI because you know what to say and what not to say. It's the difference between a 22-year-old and you say, hey, use ChatGPT and build a marketing plan versus someone who's much older, who's had 25 years of experience, and you say build a marketing plan, you both get to use ChatGPT. The person with all the experience is going to do a much different job and a much better job with the AI tool once they learn how to use the tool. So this movement, it is a forever technology. For those of you that are skeptic, believe me when I tell you, even if you're very young and you believe that this is going to go away, we all said the same thing about the internet, cell phones, and everything else in between. These are fads. They're not going to last. I could show you article after article about the internet fad that was going to go away by the 2000s. So it is a forever technology. So we've got to just make it useful. That's the secret. Okay, here are the things I think you should focus on. By the way, I'm going to give you, our team will make sure you get this slide deck distributed to you so you have it. But for you and what you do every day, there are just some things that are key, okay? And before I'll get to some questions here at the end, and we'll check on our co-work. If we had more time, I'd let it run longer. Efficiency is the baseline. So when someone says, what's the ROI for what I'm doing with AI? If an individual says that or a team, efficiency is just number one. If you have 5,000 emails and you're not using AI effectively, you'll know it because tomorrow you'll have 5,050 emails and it'll just keep getting bigger. So using it for efficiency is not to be discounted. It's kind of the baseline. Now AI, this is for your industry especially, can scale outreach. You see me doing it. It's going to scale that outreach as long as I run it. I could run it for days and it'll just keep going. So that outreach is easily scalable, as you saw. However, it cannot scale trust. In fact, it can erode trust very quickly. So the trust element is the hard work. That's the personal work, the human touch work. That's what you do. That's a critical part. So yes, scale. So when you're talking about it, I'm going to use it for scale and outreach, but I'm not going to use it to try to scale trust. It just won't do that well. And then be careful of the AI solutions. So a lot of times we're making solutions for problems that don't exist. If you can write your emails faster than AI can and better, then write them. There's no pressure that you have to. But if you like the creative output that AI gives you and you can work on it as a collaboration, like a teammate, then you're going to get great output. You should do that. These are our three big pieces. But the one in the middle, and I think there's a whole new birth of trust economy coming. We see it with our clients. We see it with what's happening with our business and all the tech we build. There's something coming. And I think it's going to be the trust economy. And so building trust is a skill. Now, it doesn't matter what model you use, and in a minute you're going to ask questions, and maybe we'll play around with some of the models if we have time. It doesn't matter what model you're using. They're all basically similar. And in fact, again, we work with them every day, all these different brands. They change in increments. So Gemini might have a new feature or a new memory, and then Claude will come right behind it and do the same thing, and then they'll add a new voice. And someone else will do this. And they're all just doing this, okay? The real battle, just so you're aware of it, now this is just more for fun facts, the real battle is between the US and China. These are the two monsters in the room. And they're all trying to get to this super autonomous AI, and they're fighting over it. China, those of you that have kids, China is now mandating all kids over 6 have to learn how to use AI at least 8 to 12 hours a year. The UAE bought all citizens AI, ChatGPT Plus. They pay for it. And they taught 1,000 teachers how to teach the students. They make their students learn AI instruction 45 to 50 minutes a day. China will have 300 proficient AI workers by 2030, 300 million by 2030. Meanwhile, my kids' schools are still like, we will catch you if you are using chat. Oh, I just want to throw up. My kids are advanced. Our daughter works with us. My oldest son works with us. My daughter's a sophomore at CSU. I'll just tell you this really funny story. So when she got into class this year for one of her psychology classes, her professor's like, oh, Kari, oh yeah, I heard you work for this AI company. Could you tell me, kind of give me some instruction on how to use this better? She's like, Dad, I'm the student. I go, no, teach these people. Teach, please. Because then when you use it, you're not going to get in trouble. There's certain rules of AI. That's one of them. If you're using it all the time, you can't get in trouble for using it because you're using it all the time. And so the instructor can't get mad at you. The other one is always say please and thank you. Because A, they work better when you say please and thank you and you're polite. And B, if they go sentient, you don't want to die first. Right? Life is risky, things are risky enough. Just be careful. Okay, I want to give you this so that you have it in the time I have left, and then I'm going to take 1 or 2 questions if we have time. We built the most simplistic prompting model so don't go on YouTube and try to find people telling you how to prompt for your industry. I promise you, they got 5 key prompts from ChatGPT 5 minutes before they made that video. Go with what works. We kept it simple. Who, what, why, how. Who am I, or who is this going to? What is it I'm trying to do? What is my goal? What's the thing that's going to be useful? Why does it matter to anyone? Why does it matter to me? Why does it matter to my client? Why does it matter? How do I want it back? Do I want a report? Do I want spreadsheets, et cetera, et cetera? Those first 4 are really critical. The other 3 are just add-ons. I've got an example of a contract. We use it with contracts all the time. Before we send our final contracts to our attorney, a person on our team puts them through Claude, analyzes every detail. Claude now will just rewrite them and do all kinds of great things, and then we send them to our attorney for verification. So being able to get it back in the right format is really powerful. And so this is I'm telling you, tried and true, okay? So this is so simple. And then I'm going to give you this as a tool so you have it. So essentially, if you scan that QR code and go to our website, throw your email in, we have a Never Dies AI prompting coach that you can have. You can use it anytime you want. Anytime you want to go there, you go there. And you basically say, it takes you through the who, what, why, how, but you can go down below and build a prompt with it. Hey, I'm trying to do this. I'm planning an event. I'm going to be at this hotel. I need to come up with this. And all it's going to do is build the prompt. It's not going to run the prompt. It's going to build it. Then the best part, when you close this window, it deletes everything. So we don't keep the data. We don't harness your prompts. We're not some evil prompt gatherer. So whatever you put in there is yours, and once you get rid of it, you can delete it. And then you'll put your email in, and then we've got you. No, it's true, but okay, then my final thing here, then I'll see if I have time for a question. If not, I'll stick around a little bit later today. So this is something, again, we've discovered. We're very human-focused. We're called the human hive for a reason. And we're very focused on these things. So wherever you are in the industry, wherever you are in your business, these are the things you should be focused on. These are the things your kids should be focused on. Goal setting, accountability, and communication. These are the 3 key human skills that we teach when people are using AI that actually are just the missing human skill. Most people do not know how to set a goal. It's remarkable. When they start using AI, it brings to life the fact that even in personal, they're having a hard time setting goals. So goal setting, accountability, and communication. The bottom part is something, I heard a comedian say this, she was brilliant, I forget her name, but she was talking about in the 80s, Gen Xer. I'm a Gen Xer. So my wife's a millennial, I'm a Gen Xer, my parents are boomers, I have Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So if you have any questions about generations, I'm clearly the expert. But we had a thing in the 80s and 90s called critical thinking. I don't know if anybody remembers this. It needs a comeback. So basically, the critical thinking went like this. Yeah, thank you. For those of you that haven't seen, there's a comedian, she's brilliant. I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but she's brilliant, and she says this better than me. But if you want to know what it feels like this. An idea comes in, or a media thing, or whatever, and you ingest it, and then you go, I'm going to think about it for a period of time. And then maybe you go for a walk or do something, and then you forgot you were even going to think about that, and then you go, I don't even need to talk about that. Versus, that's not critical thinking. So it slows you down a little bit. Relationship building is the other one. You all do that well. This is the thing we have to share generationally, how we build relationships. And then finally, adaptability. This is going to be the most important thing you can focus on for your own development over the next 12 to 18 months. Everything is changing fast, but it's not changing so fast you can't keep up. Keep in mind, I'm in the space. I deal with AI all the time. Yes, it's fast. It's also sometimes broken. So your ability to keep up with it is just as much as your ability to find one model that works, stick with it, find comfortability, and get things done. One thing AI is good at, I'll just tell you this as a final note, is getting friction out of your way. What do I mean by friction? Things like you call Verizon and you get, hey, this is Verizon's AI chatbot. We'd love to have a conversation with you. You can just talk naturally. And you can go onto your ChatGPT and go, I got to talk to this stupid bot. Tell me how to say this so I can get to a person. And most likely what ChatGPT will say is start cursing. I don't know if you know this. There's an escalation feature in all these models. It's good. So good that my wife had to call Walgreens. Our son had a rash, our 3.5-year-old, so she had to get this cream, this prescription. She called Walgreens and she just stood there like this. She wasn't angry. She just goes, get me an effing person, right? Effing. And she starts cursing into the phone. Oh, I can tell you're upset. I'll connect you now. So if you didn't know that, it works every time. Every time. AI doesn't have to tell you that, but it will. So you're all like, that was worth being here. The last thing I'll leave you with, I don't know if I'll have time for a question, but I want to leave you with this. At Hive, we're developing something that comes out in about a month, and I just want to tell you about it because it's so special. We built an algorithm that will harness wisdom from a person's lived experience. So what we wanted to do was build an authentic AI that would actually create wisdom, lived experience, wisdom from the ages. People like my grandfather. It started because I was in the office trying to make an avatar of myself for my kids. I was like, when I'm gone someday, I want my kids to be able to ask Dad questions. And not like grief tech, more like wisdom tech. And I couldn't get it to work, and so our CTO, the other Mitch, goes, I can build that. Let's build it. So we have, and it's going to be crazy. So I'll make sure you all find out about it. Hive Wisdom. It's about, we always say it's like wisdom is in your nature. Because that's the thing we're missing, everybody. I'm just going to end with this because I won't have time for questions. But I'll stick around. But I will tell you this. The one thing we're missing is shared experience and shared wisdom. It's been lost on us for a long time. We had it kind of taken from us. In replacement is this rapid fire energy that doesn't serve us well. We need to get back to harnessing wisdom from each other, from sharing these things with each other, and from using the tools in a way that actually gets work out of our way so we can then work with each other to nurture that human experience. Okay, so this is still working, by the way. So just letting you know, I won't have time to show you the results, but it will give me a full report. Oh, it's about to send something to Danielle. I don't know if you're here, Danielle, but hopefully you are. If not, just some random Danielle is about to get a message from me and go, what stage? This is awesome. Anyway, hopefully this was useful. I just want you to know, for me, as the leader of this company, what matters to me is just being out here with all of you doing this. This is what I love doing. I'm a former entertainer, so for me it's a joy. Hopefully this was useful to all of you. If it was, thank you. If not, my name's Charlie. Have a great rest of your day.